Good evening, family. I'd like to read a story about Christmas. Every Who down in Whoville liked Christmas a lot, but the COVID who lived just north of Whoville did not. The COVID hated Christmas the whole Christmas season. Now please don't ask why, no one quite knows the reason. It could be his head wasn't screwed on just right. It could be perhaps that his shoes were too tight. But I think that the most likely reason of all may have been that his heart was 2 sizes too small. Whatever the reason, his heart or his shoes, he stood there this winter, hating the Who's. Staring down from his cave with a sour COVID frown at the warm lighted windows below in their town. For he knew every Who down in Whoville far and wide was busy together, cozy side by side. And they're snuggling close, he snarled with a sneer. Soon it's Christmas, it's practically here. Then he growled with his COVID fingers nervously drumming. I must find some way to stop Christmas from coming. For soon he knew all the girls and boys would wake bright and early. They'd rush for their toys. And then, oh the noise, oh the noise. Noise, noise, noise. That's one thing he hated. The noise, 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 noise.
Go to the jubilation? I'm much too busy. 1 o'clock. Wallow in self-pity. 2:30. Stare into the abyss. 4 o'clock. Solve world hunger. Tell no one. 5 o'clock. Jazzercise. 5:30. Wrestle with my self-loathing. 6 o'clock. Dinner with myself. I can't cancel on that again. 8 o'clock. Stare at the ceiling. Slip slowly into madness. I'm booked.
Then the Who's, young and old, would sit down to a feast. And they'd feast. And they'd feast. And they'd feast, 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 feast. They would feast on Who pudding and rare Who roast beast, which was something that COVID couldn't stand in the least. And then they'd do something he liked least of all. Every Who down in Whoville, the tall and the small, would stand close together with the Christmas bells ringing. They'd stand hand in hand, and the Who's would start singing. They'd sing, and they'd sing, and they'd sing, sing, sing. And the more the COVID thought of this Who Christmas sing, the more the COVID thought, I must stop this whole thing. Why, for 100 years I put up with it now. I must stop this Christmas from coming. But how? Then he got an idea, an awful idea. The COVID got a wonderful, awful idea.
Alphabetically. Everyday's Who! I hate you! Hate, hate, hate. Hate, hate. Double hate. Loathe entirely.
I know just what to do, the COVID broke out in a smile. I'll make it so those Who's can't travel even a mile. He snapped his fingers as he thought in an instant just how to ensure the Who's would stay distant. I'll send myself down and make them all sick, and that'll show that fat bearded Saint Nick. The COVID got to work and the virus had spread. The Who's had to stay home and learn to make bread. Masks were worn in every room. Meetings and gatherings migrated to Zoom. Little Who children went to school on the computer, and essential workers became the only commuters. The Who's could no longer leave their houses without reason. Their spirits were crushed this holiday season. COVID was pleased he canceled Christmas for the Who's. Now he could settle in for Christmas Eve snooze. Pooh-pooh to the Who's, he was covidly humming. They're finding out now that no Christmas is coming.
Oh, do tell. I could even take their sense of taste and smell. I can't take their sense of humor. Even that's too vicious for me.
Then he saw something he didn't understand. Everyday Who's began to lend a hand. Doctors, nurses, teachers, local stores, deliverers, builders, cashiers, and more. The younger Who's cared for the old. They gathered outside, even in the cold. The Who's got good at their virtual meetings and found creative ways to say holiday greetings. The Who's made Christmas special, even with nowhere to go. And COVID thought to himself, it can't be so. He didn't stop Christmas from coming, it came. Somehow or other, it came, just the same. Then COVID thought of something he hadn't before. Maybe Who's, perhaps, are made of a little bit more. And what happened then? Well, in Whoville, they say, that the COVID small heart grew 3 sizes that day. And a thought warmed his much larger heart. We're so close together, even apart.
It came just the same. It came without tags, without presents, without bags. Could it be? Christmas is more